How did this man get out of the second largest private prison in the world? How did another body get in there? Whose body is this? He created this fake modeling agency, and he was reaching out to young girls, a lot of them being teenagers who were aspiring models, and they were, putting their portfolios online, and he would reach out to them and offer them jobs and tell them he could get them brand deals. He was going to take them on trips, and all they needed to do would be pay him his agent fee. And so they believed him. And so he started receiving all of this money from these young, inspiring models, even to the point that he actually ended up meeting up with a few of them. And when he would meet with them, he would rob them. And sometimes he would even push himself on them as well. Tabo continued to do this, and he was very good at conning and lying to people. But all of Tabo's scams would come to a halt in 2012 when he was arrested for R-ing 2 women and actually killing another one. Tabo would be sentenced to life in prison plus 75 years. Now, during this time, an old flame named Dr. Nyandipa reached out to him. She began writing him while he was in prison. This woman had it going on. Do you hear me? She was a doctor. She was stunning. She was a celebrity doctor. She was doing all these interviews on television. She had a big social media. Not that these things make you any more better than the next person, but I'm just letting you guys know the success that this woman had and why in the name of the Lord she thought writing him in prison, I don't know. However, when she started writing Tabo, she began to go and visit him as well. And before you know it, her and her husband split up, and she started to fall in love with this con artist in prison. On a late night in early of March of 2022, other prison inmates said that they heard the prison guards coming into Tabo's cell and dragging him out. He was kicking and screaming. They were dragging him down the hallways, and they ended up taking him to solitary confinement. They took him to a little corner solitary confinement room that truly was never hardly used because it was out of the viewpoint of them watching him, and they threw him in the cell. Then on the early morning hours of March 5th of 2022, some smoke started to come out of that cell, like a weird smelling smoke. Officers that worked at the prison said that when they went into the cell, this is where they found a mattress laying on top of Tabo's body, completely burned up, and he was burned unrecognizable. They ended up calling the police, and the police ended up showing up at almost 7 a.m. So almost 4 hours after the incident is when the cops showed up. And this is when they pronounced him dead. They removed his body, and they actually announced it on the news. Now, not long after the incident, and it was announced that he was gone and no longer here on this earth, a woman showed up to the morgue claiming to be his wife. She was throwing a fit and saying, listen, this is my husband's body. I want his body so I can give him the proper burial. I've got his 2 children. This is unethical or unright. You need to give me my husband's body. He's gone. My children need to grieve, Because she threw such a fit, they ended up releasing the body to the woman claiming to be his wife. Now, she took the body and she was on the way to have it cremated when Tabo's mother showed up to the morgue and said, hey, I want to take my son's body and give him a proper burial. This is when they said, no, his wife has already came here. She's already picked up the body. She said, hold up. My son don't have no wife. He ain't got no kids. Who did you give his body to? Now, when they did the autopsy of Tabo's body, this is when they found that there was no smoke in the lungs of the body at all. So that told them that this body was already dead when the fire happened. But how could that be, right? Then they also found out by examining the body that the body had actually died from blunt force trauma to the head. And then when the DNA came back, it was not a match to his mother. So this is when they went, hold on. Whose body is this? Whose body was found in cell 35 burned? And where is Tabo if it's not him? This is when the South African police launched a manhunt for him. So now everybody is really scratching their heads. How did this man get out of the second largest private prison in the world, a very, very, very secure prison? How did another body get in there? Whose body is this? So now that Tabo's face is plastered all over the news media outlet again, this is when the police started getting phone calls from women saying, hold on. I've been talking to this man on the phone. We've been having Zoom calls, Skype calls for years now. He runs the company 21 Century, and they're like, no, he's an inmate. You know, he's serving life in prison. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been talking to this man. So come to find out, for years while Tabot was in prison, he was running a very lucrative scam, posing as the head of 21 Century Media. He had even went as far as inventing an extensive backstory for Tom, the name he was using on his website. A board of directors documented for 21st Century Group includes a profile that describes Tom as a South African investment strategist. He's in prison. He's got a whole business going, and he's doing Zoom calls. How is he doing Zoom calls? So now investigators are like, what is going on? Now, since all of this, former employees at this company said that he was a very hands-on boss, that anytime that they needed money and they said, okay, we need money for this event, he would say, okay, and he would have the money transferred. How is he doing this? Like, it is wild. He was running this entire mega company with all of these employees all over the place, making these financial transactions, these Zoom meetings, all of this stuff from within the prison. He had to have had major connections, but even how and why? And in June of 2022, somebody took a picture of their favorite celebrity doctor out shopping in public. And when they did, this is when people started to recognize Tabot looking a little different with their favorite celebrity doctor. It is alleged that him and her started a new company while he was out. Well, in March of this year, 2023, is when it went viral that it was official. He was alive. He had escaped prison and he was on the run somewhere. When they began to dig more into Dr. Nandipa, this is when they realized that she had abandoned her whole business, her whole medical practice. She abandoned a mansion that her and some man was living in with her 2 daughters. And she had just left it there abandoned. And it is also rumored that they had a lady that was cleaning their house that walked into the house one day to clean it and never came out. Then on Saturday, April 8th, it was announced that Tabot had been arrested the night before. Not only was he was arrested along with his girlfriend, the doctor, the one that he claims to be his wife. It comes to find out she was still married to her ex-husband. They were not actually husband and wife, but they claimed to be husband and wife, as well as another person. Now, the third person that was arrested was her father. Come to find out, y'all, the doctor's father had connections with allegedly the warden at the prison. The warden is being arrested as well, which is how they got him in and out. The doctor allegedly was going down and claiming bodies from the morgue. We don't know how she did it, what she said to get them. Allegedly, she went and got 3 dead bodies, you guys. But why would she do this? And I don't care how much you love somebody. When you go and get dead bodies from a morgue and do all this, you got to have something off about you too. It is rumored that they could have been into the organ harvesting trade, which is why she so easily got bodies and which is why they had so much money, even though they were doing all of these scams. But who really knows what all happened? All we know for sure is that he's going back to the same sentence he already had, and now all of these people are going down with him. This is a movie. This is going to be made into a movie. We still don't even know what's going to happen yet.